Good morning, greetings. Welcome to today's class. As we'll be continuing from our last topic, of which we talked about the biotic factors, how they interact with the environment, and we also name them, list the various types of biotic factors, and classify them to their groups. So today we'll be focusing on a very different topic. As you can see, we have various pictures there whereby they depict or show uh, the non-living resources that are found in an ecosystem or the environment that we live in. We have sunlight, temperature, we have water, soil composition, wind, pH level, salinity, and altitude. So today we'll be looking at the non-living components or resources in the ecosystem. Now, these components, they are called abiotic factors. These are the non-living resources of the ecosystem. They are grouped or classified into three groups, namely physiographic factors, edaphic factors of which focus specifically on the soil. We have climatic factors. So the first one we'll be looking at is the slope. The slope, it simply means how steep or flat an area is, whereby if like an area it is of high steep, the water there won't be able to be absorbed by the soil when there is rain, but then it will just run off the slope, whereby it causes soil erosion. And it also has shallow and very infertile soil, because the soil there, it is usually washed off, whereby it leaves a hard ground, whereby we find only sandy soil, of which it has less nutrients and it has no abilities to cater for the growth of plants. So only few plants they can grow there, and there are few animals that are found there because there is no enough resources for those animals. Thus they relocate and go search for other places whereby there is enough food for them. We also have an aspect. The aspect, it is simply the direction of whereby the slope it is facing. Whereby we have north facing slopes, we have also south facing slope, and we have also plants which are called the xerophytes, whereby they are found in north facing slopes, because north facing slopes they receive much sunlight than the south facing slope, whereby the xerophytes are able to adapt and grow in those harsh conditions because they have certain abilities or traits that enables them to be able to grow in those conditions, such as their thick leaves, which are able to absorb and keep water for a very long time, which provides the whole plant with water if there is a very shortage of rainfall and droughts. We also have shade-loving plants, whereby they are mostly found on the south-facing slope. We also have altitude, of which it simply talks about the height of the land above the sea level, whereby we have high altitudes and we have low altitudes, whereby at high altitudes the temperature it is very lower, the wind speed is greater, and the rainfall it is also very high. Fewer plants and animal species are found at higher altitudes than at lower altitudes. Now moving on the edaphic factors, whereby I said these ones they only focus on the soil. We are going to look at the pH scale, which you were taught in grade 9 natural sciences, whereby you focused on how to read a pH scale. As you know that from 0 to 6 we have acidic, whereby it simply tells us that if a substance has a pH value of from 0 to 6, it is acidic. And then if that substance has 7 as a pH value, it is neutral. But then from 8 to 14, we can now say it is alkaline or basic. So the pH value simply means how acidic or the alkaline the soil is. We have acidic soil with a pH value of less than 7, and then as an example we can have a sandy soil. We also have alkaline soil with a pH value of greater than 7, meaning it is from 8 to 14, or can be between 8 and 14. So an example there can be clay soil. We also have neutral soil with a pH value of 7, which is neutral. Example for this one can be loam soil. We also have humus. Humus, it simply is the dead and decaying plant and animal materials of which they are used to fertilize the soil and increase its ability to cater for the growth of various plants so that they can grow, be rich in the fruits that they produce, and or also for vegetables. Now, humus, it makes the soil fertile, as I've said. It provides plants with nutrients, keeps oxygen in the soil, holds water, and allows excess water to drain away so that the soil cannot have too much water, whereby it also destroys the growth of the plant, and the soil might lose its value if it has too much water. We also have the soil texture, which refers to various types of soils. We have sandy soil, we have clay soil, we have loam soil. We also have slate soil. Now, sandy soil, it has very low water retention. The particles there are very large. When they talk about low water retention, it just simply means the ability of sandy soil to hold water. It is very low and or poor. And then clay soil, it is having a very high water retention. The particles are very small. Clay soil, we know them, we used to use them to mold various objects or organisms during our primary schooling for subjects such as creative arts, life skills, because it is very thick and it has very small particles, so that it allows one to mold it and use it for any product they want to produce. We also have loam soil, of which holds adequate amount of water, mixture of sand and clay, and it has very lots of humus. Now this one, it is mostly great or very appropriate for plant growth because it has a lot of humus, and its ability to hold water, it is very moderate, of which it is very good for the plant. We also have soil air. Soil air refers to the air found in the spaces between the soil particles that are not filled with water. Loosely packed soil particles such as sand have large air spaces and much air. And then clay soil, it has small air spaces and little or no air because of the soil particles there. They are very, very small. Loam holds very moderate amount of air due to its combination of various soils, and it has lots of humus. Now we're going to look at the climatic factors. Climatic factors, we have sunlight. The sunlight, as we know, that is the main source of light in the ecosystem, whereby it is used for various activities. Of one, we can have it is used during photosynthesis, whereby plants, they need it for the production of glucose, which is their food. We also have photoperiodism, which means an organism's response to day length, which is called the photoperiod. It also affects the plant growth, flowering. For example, there are short day plants that are only flower when days are shorter than nights, and long day plants that only flower when days are longer than nights. It also controls the activity of some animals. For example, they are nocturnal animals, which they are active at night, such as an owl, and we have diurnal animals which are active during the day, of which these ones they are very many. You can have your examples such as zebra, elephant, and many more. Also have temperature. Now, the temperature it controls various activities of animals that are found in the environment. We also have whereby some animals they migrate if season changes, they migrate to other ecosystems or places. We also have hibernation, whereby now the animals they save water and food for themselves for certain seasons, whereby they don't want to come out due to extreme heat or extreme coldness. We also have water availability, of which it is a very essential factor for everyday life for the various organisms. Water is an important limiting factor in terrestrial ecosystem or biome. Now, the amount of rainfall determines the type of plants and animals that can live in the biome. For example, if we do not have enough rain, some trees might not grow due to low water availability. For example, we can have maybe mango trees, of which we know that they grow seasonally. So during some seasons there is less water, and they grow throughout a season that they have enough water. Now, we also have animals. Animals get water through drinking and eating. They lose water mainly through sweating, excretion, and breathing. Plants get water through their roots. They lose water through transpiration, of which we did previously in this grade. And we also had an experiment whereby you experimented on how these plants lose water through transpiration. Also have atmospheric gases. These gases, you learned about them in grade 8 natural sciences, whereby you talked about the atmosphere. We have oxygen, we have carbon dioxide, nitrogen, we have water vapor. Now, we also have various functions of these gases, whereby oxygen is used for cellular respiration in animals, produced by plants during photosynthesis as a byproduct, produced during cellular respiration, used by plants during photosynthesis, which is the carbon dioxide. It is produced during cellular respiration, it is used by plants during photosynthesis. And we have nitrogen, which is converted into nitrates and nitrites and nitrates by bacteria. Plants and animals convert the nitrogen into proteins. And then also have water vapor, which is released into the atmosphere when plants transpire, enters atmosphere from the soil, rivers, lakes, and oceans through the process of evaporation, and then it also returns to the ground as precipitation. Now we also have wind in our ecosystem. These are the moving air currents which are called wind. Wind influences rainfall, which in turn affects the types of plants and animals living in an ecosystem. Wind increases transpiration, and it also disperses pollen seeds, whereby it increases the pollination through flowers. And this is the end of our lesson. Thank you so much.